welcome to Life in DNA with Amanda Renee. I'm Amanda. Welcome to today's episode. I wanted to talk a little bit about flexibility in homeschooling, and I'll probably dive into a little bit on how I'm trying to change what I'm eating. But first, don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, to like this video, please, and subscribe if you haven't. And also join me over on Patreon. I'm starting the 2 book clubs over there. My daughter and I have already started reading on the unabridged version of The Count of Monte Cristo. That's one of my favorite books. I love it. I've already started. I'm on like chapter 9 or 10, and I'm already just reminded why I love that book so much. And so I'm hoping that she enjoys it too. But if you join us over there, we have decided we're going to read it in a span of about 3 months, because she's in high school now and we need to get, so many books in for the year. So we're going to try and read it in about 3 months. So we are going to do the podcast. If you join the Patreon, if you join that club, it'll be $5 a month, but we are going to have bi-weekly episodes since there'll be so much to talk about. And if you join over there, I will email you a reading schedule so that you can kind of keep up with us, so that when you listen to the episodes, you'll have read what we've read and know what we're talking about. I also am starting the Studious Wives book club, and the first book that we're doing is The Empowered Wife by Laura Doyle, and I've already started reading and taking notes on that one also. I've read the first 3 chapters. I'm going to read the next 3 this week and get a video up on that, and that one's going to be a little more in-depth. It'll be $10 a month. So I hope you go over to Patreon at Life in DNA with Amanda Renee and join me over there. And hopefully I'll be talking to you in the chat about that. So obviously the Studious Wives one is just for women. You don't necessarily have to be married. If you're trying to learn how to be a good wife before you're married, that's fine. But it's just for women. But the high school one, my high school and I are going to do it together. So if you're a homeschool mom and you have a high schooler that wants to join us, that would be awesome. So yeah, I wanted to talk about being flexible in homeschooling. It is one of the many things that I love about homeschooling. And the reason I wanted to talk about it was because I had to be extremely flexible in my homeschooling this week. Last week, if you watched, I showed you how I plan the year, get everything set up, get my binders ready, and we were supposed to start school Monday. We did not get to do that. I was all ready to go. I had their lesson plans written out. I had everything ready. I was going to take pictures on Monday, and Sunday evening, late Sunday evening, our air conditioner decided to quit working, and it was like 80 degrees in the house. And normally by the time it shut off, I normally have it down to like 67, because that's what we try to sleep in. Because even at 67, I still get hot at some point. So anyway, it was 80 degrees and it was supposed to be 67 in the house. And so I had to call the guy, and because it was nighttime, I don't want to see, I'm scared to see that bill, honestly. I'm not looking forward to getting that bill. It turned out to be just, thankfully, it was I was thanking God so much that it wasn't anything with parts. It was just the drain line had backed up and kicked the safety off so that our laundry room wasn't flooded. And the guy came out, blew it out, it came on, It was already starting to cool the house down, and a little bit later, it kicked off again. And I figured that's what it was, but I didn't have any way of fixing it. My husband had to get up at 5:30 in the morning. He was already asleep, so I wasn't going to wake him up. And so we all just kind of pointed fans on ourselves and suffered with it until in the morning, and then they came back out, blew it all out again, and this time I took notes. I took notes on what to do for next year, because this same thing happened the year before, but until the guy was saying it, I didn't remember that that's what happened. So, like I said, this time I took notes, so if it ever happens again, and hopefully, if it does, that's all that it is, and not anything big or major. Our unit isn't that old. And so, yeah, I like to do that, because when something keeps happening and it's something that I or my husband could easily, take care of, I like to write that down and take notes, because it gets expensive calling people all the time. So yeah, as long as you can run an air compressor, then you can fix this problem. So anyway, about being flexible in homeschooling, nobody got any sleep that night, hardly at all. And so I was like, I'm not starting our whole year out like this with everyone tired and grumpy. And I actually had a lot to do that afternoon. Mondays are typically pretty busy for me. Our son has allergy shots every Monday. I have pushed him to the afternoon so that we can at least have the morning for school. I typically have staff meetings for church, since I'm the preschool teacher. And so Monday afternoons are crazy for me. So yeah, we pushed it back. I had all kinds of other things going on. I had to get a mammogram yesterday. I had to get my oil changed yesterday. We have stuff all week long. So it really was a good idea to push it back to next week. We have our county fair coming up next week. And so we're gonna get ready for that. The kids already have stuff done, because 4-H has a lot of contests during the year. They already have a poster that they entered in the poster contest last, I think, September or October, and they get to enter that in the fair. So they have that. They have a photograph that they took that they entered, and the derby cars they made in church. And I think my daughter's come up with a couple other things. But we're going to use this week to get all of that prepped so that next week we can do school. All we need to do is go drop off the entries. And then Friday, when it's Kids Day, actually go to the fair and probably work the concession stand sometime that week. I like the kids to do that. One, as the 4-H leader, I need to set the example for the others, because I try to encourage the kids to get in there and participate as much as possible. It gives them good interaction with the public, and just working with money and working with people in general and serving them. And so I like to encourage that, but I also get my kids to do it too, to set the example for the others. So yeah, I think we'll be set up for next week, set up for success, since we'll have had an extra week of getting the house clean, so there'll be a little bit less that they'll have to do after school during the week, because all of that'll be done. And they'll be all ready for the fair and have everything ready to just go and drop off. So yeah, I love that we get that. I mean, if there was if it was public school, we wouldn't have the option of, oh, well, nobody had a good night's sleep. It'd be too bad. Suck it up and just go have a crappy first day because you didn't get any sleep. So I am very thankful that we get to homeschool and that it works like that. It also just helps that, we kind of we homeschool year round so that when life throws something at us like that, and sometimes it's, someone getting sick or a death in the family, anything like that, I can work our schedule around that. I had someone asking on our homeschool Facebook group for the area about, tips for going year round. And that was mine. They were trying to plan their whole year out, but by date. And I don't do that anymore. I used to, but I just find that it's so much easier. Like this year, I set a goal for my start date. That did not work out. I do want to take all of December off, or at least the majority of December off. Once all of the Christmas parties and programs and things like that start happening, I like to just take off, because otherwise we're interrupting our school day, we're rushing around too much, then we're stressed out and we just don't enjoy the things, and we're like rushing in to get cookies made rather than just having a whole day to do that. And I don't like, Christmas is stressful enough for a mom. It is really stressful for moms, and so I don't want to add school into that, and then one, make school a drudgery, and two, make Christmas more of a chore. So we take that off. I try to get as much school as I can between August and the end of November, but there are a lot of fun things going on in the fall. And I personally would rather take off in the fall when the weather's nice. I mean, where we live, it is stupid hot summer, way longer than we get the nice cool weather. And so I would rather take advantage of the fun things that come up during that time and take off. One thing I have found that helped me, where I would think, oh, I just have to take a whole week off if we're going to be missing multiple days, I've started just taking 2 weeks to do 1 week of school, because typically, when the holidays happen, you have stuff going on like from Wednesday to Friday. So we'll do school Monday and Tuesday that week, and then the next week we'll take Monday and Tuesday off, and then we'll finish out our school week Wednesday through Friday. And so they get a couple days to rest up from the holiday, but we're also not missing, 2 whole weeks of school, or wasting time, and then or jumping back into a full week of school after taking a week off, but not getting the days of rest in after a holiday. And so I like doing it like that. But like I said, the majority of the year is just stupid hot here, and we typically don't do a lot of vacationing in the summer. It's crazy hot. We do more little trips here and there, and not to mention everyone else is traveling and doing stuff in the summer, and so everywhere is really busy. So I would rather use the summer to catch up on the year of school instead of the nice months. That's typically what we do, because it's too hot for the kids to be outside anyway, where we are. Like today, it is 102 outside, but it's brutal. I mean, the sun is just brutal. Our grass is crispy and dead. If it's crispy and dead, then you don't have to mow it. So yeah, we don't waste watering it. But yeah, so that's how we do school year round. And I don't worry about what day what day or week we're going to end school. I just kind of, I try to end, my ideal would be to end by the end of June. But if we have a week or two in July, that's not that big a deal. Now, my goal, and I had to kind of really work around some things and to finish before we went on our vacation in July. There is 1 week in July where we go and do something fun. And I try to finish by then. But if we didn't, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It would just mean, I would start later in August, which I ended up having to do anyway. But yeah, because I try to give them a month between ending one grade and starting another, because I do assign grades to them. I just prefer that. It makes it easier for me with a lot of things. Some homeschoolers don't. I just have. And so I try to give them at least a month. This time they got about 5 or 6 weeks in between. So they've enjoyed that, but they got to catch up on some cleaning and resting up and doing things like that. So yeah, that's just how we have found to do it. I used to try to be really strict about getting trying to get the first half of school done by Christmas and the second half done by a certain time, but that just didn't work for us. And one of the huge benefits of homeschooling is that you can do it how you want to do it. And, even if I've had homeschool years kind of overlap even before, where, we might have started at one time and we ended a little past that in the next year. But that's okay too, because I don't have anybody telling me that I can't do that. And as long as I am teaching my kids and they're getting their schoolwork done, then, that's nobody's business but ours that that's happening. So I try not to let it happen, but, if it does, then oh well. Because, legally, as long as they get 180 days of schoolwork in before they finish that grade, then I've done my job. The other thing I wanted to talk about was something I listened to on the Trim Healthy Mama podcast. I try to listen to those sometimes when I'm cleaning and doing things. And oh my goodness, I actually started tearing up because it was something I needed to hear so bad. I've been trying to, I have not managed to start reading my Bible again. I keep meaning to, and I want to. I just have not done that yet. Between the 2 book clubs, I do a lot of reading, and so I have not managed to do that. But I have been trying to draw closer to God lately. A lot of the stuff, if you've listened to me at all in the past, a lot of the stuff with my mom just kind of made me not pull away from God, but just kind of, I don't know how to word that. Maybe it is pull away a little bit. But I've been trying to draw closer to him again. And the thing they said on the podcast was, what are you focusing on and making bigger in your life? And they used the example of, one of the sisters didn't like her nose when she was like 10 years old. And so all she saw in the mirror every time was her nose. And every time she looked in the mirror, it just seemed to look bigger and bigger and just blown out of proportion. And she had a distorted view of herself. She even went anorexic for a while because she just saw herself as so much bigger. And she's like me, tall, and she is not like big by any means, but she's tall, and that, as a girl, that makes you feel more out of place. My mom was short. A lot of women you see, they're short and petite, and then when you're more of the Amazon type, it's hard when you're growing up to be that way. And so I understood what she was talking about, but it was so distorted in her mind that she was got anorexic. And they were saying, the stuff that you focus on that's negative just grows so big, and even to the point of getting depressed and things about it. But that really resonated with me. Certain areas of my life lately, I keep focusing on the negative, the not having enough in this area, or not, being enough in this area. And so that grows, and I will get to the point I've found, especially, and I don't know whether I'm sure all the thyroid stuff probably makes this even worse, but my anxiety will go up and up and up the more I focus on those things. And so when they said that, it was like a light bulb moment for me, and I realized that I've been focusing on the wrong things. And they said, focus on God and the one that can help with the problem and fix the problem, and the things you do have, and the, all the good things going on in your life, and magnify those. And then, because there is the verse that if you focus on God and his kingdom, then all the other things are taken care of. And, I'm sure me not reading my Bible recently has helped me forget those things. And so I thought that was pretty awesome. So I wanted to share that with you guys in case you don't listen to that podcast. But that was really good. I needed that, and that helps me. I hope I can remember to think on that, because I need to. And speaking of Trim Healthy Mama, I have been trying to do better about, I can't go all in at the moment. It's just, one, it's too overwhelming for me in the kitchen, and two, groceries are insanely expensive right now. So trying to eat healthy for myself, and I want to be able to feed my whole family healthy. It's just, goodness, it is so hard. One, it's hard enough to come up with meals for the week anyway, and then to come up with meals that are halfway decent and healthy, but not gonna just totally double the grocery bill, it's a hard balance. So I've been trying to do just little tweaks here and there. I'm not sure if I told you about they shared a recipe. I haven't been able to get the just frozen peaches. I did see those at Brahms the other day, so I might grab them from there if Walmart continues to be out of them. But I did get some mixed frozen fruit that has, I think, mango, pineapple, peaches, stuff like that. You take half a cup of cottage cheese, and I can't remember how much fruit. The Trim Healthy Mama ladies shared it on their Instagram, and put that and some sweetener in the blender and blend it till it's smooth, so it's almost like a frozen yogurt consistency, something like that. And it's a good way to get protein in. And they have a recipe called something berry whip, where instead of the peaches, you use berries and cottage cheese and sweetener, and my kids and I used to love that. So I do want to start. That's pretty cheap and easy snack. You can typically get frozen fruit that's not too expensive, and cottage cheese isn't much, but it's a good way to get protein in. It's a good yummy snack, and it's healthy. So for now, I've bought it for me, and I'm going to try to, I just have not managed to make it yet, but I plan on doing that today because I need something with protein in it that I can just quickly get. Earlier this week, I had to make spaghetti because I needed something very quick and easy, and I'm not a big fan of spaghetti anyway, but since I've been on the semaglutide, I just don't like pasta really anymore, which is a good thing. But I wanted something that I could eat that had protein in it. So I made myself a little bit of tuna fish and had a little tuna fish sandwich and a sweet potato. Now, because I use white bread and I just used a little bit of mayo and relish when I made my tuna, so that wasn't bad. But the white bread and a little more than a teaspoon on my butter on my sweet potato wasn't actually on plan Trim Healthy Mama, but at least I had protein. I had good healthy carbs in the sweet potato, so I was kind of actually proud of myself because at least it's a little nudge in the right direction, and it made enough tuna that I got to have that for lunch the next day also. So baby steps. That's what I'm trying to do, is baby steps. And the ladies keep talking about how important, getting your greens and vegetables and all of that is. They even said that they read somewhere having a salad a day takes like 11 years off the age of your brain, something like that. And I'm like, that's awesome, especially considering on my dad's side, dementia and Alzheimer's has kind of happened to my grandparents and great-grandparents. So I need to do whatever I can to make my brain healthy because I do not want that. So it's made me really crave salads lately. I haven't managed to go get any because I don't want to be gung-ho, buy it, and waste it, which is what usually happens because salads sound nice, and I like them when I go out to eat and have a little side salad. But for some reason, I don't know what it is, but when I make them at home, it just makes my stomach hurt, and I don't know why. So I've been putting that part off. But I did buy the stuff, except for the kale, because, of course, our Walmart is out of everything that I really needed. But I bought the stuff to make me the zuppa toscana soup. My friend gave me a healthy version. The Trim Healthy Mama ladies have a healthy version in their cookbook. I was going to try to do one that's kind of in between the Trim Healthy Mama and the one my friend sent me, because it replaces potato with cauliflower. And but I want to make that and eat on that for lunches, so then I know I'm getting something good. It's got protein, it's got vegetables. So yeah, that way I have a healthy lunch. But if you've ever made zuppa toscana soup, it's delicious. It is awesome. My family loves it. That's why I need to sneak and make it for my lunches and not let them have it, or I don't ever get any of it, hardly. But it takes a long time to make it if you make it the right way. So it was my plan to make that and eat on it for lunch, but without the kale, I'm not going to bother making it. So I'm going to try and pick up some kale tomorrow when I have to run to town, and hopefully get that made and then eat on it next week. So yeah, hopefully baby steps. If I can, I have done well with every time I've gone back on Trim Healthy Mama. I always end up implementing a new thing and kind of sticking with it. Like I use stevia in my coffee or any drinks that I make, and I've stuck with that. Once I first started Trim Healthy Mama and I got used to the taste, it was I can't remember what brand. It's the brand that used to have the purple and white bag. Anyway, that one doesn't have a weird taste to me. And the Trim Healthy Mama ladies have sweeteners, and I have some of those too. Once I got used to that, I just kept using it so that I'm not having blood sugar spikes. But ever since I've been on the semaglutide, I keep craving sugar, especially like peanut M&Ms, which is weird. But the other day I saw, and I had forgotten about this recipe, but in the very original Trim Healthy Mama book, they made something called skinny chocolate, and I used to love that stuff when I first got on the plan. And so I'm going to make some of that. I went and bought some just cheap mixed nuts from Dollar General. And so I'm going to make that. It's just cocoa powder, coconut oil, and stevia. And then you can add nuts, or sometimes you can add, some people add like peanut flour to make it like a peanut butter chocolate. But you mix that all up and freeze it. It has to stay in the freezer because the coconut oil, if it gets hot, it melts and it's all over the place. But it was really, really good. And so I thought, well, that would be a good, healthy alternative to my craving for the peanut M&Ms. And that I won't be spiking my blood sugar and putting all the crap that's in peanut M&Ms into my body. I'll be giving it healthy stuff. So that is my plan this week to get that made. But so yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk about this week. So thank you for joining me, and don't forget, if you like this video, to click the like button if you're watching on YouTube, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back on here next week. And if you join me for the book clubs on Patreon, I will be putting up videos this week for the Studious Wives book club, and then next week we'll be putting up the first one for the high school classics. And yeah, so I hope you join me over there. I'm excited about these. I'm ready to talk about them and discuss them. I love getting to talk about books and what I've read, because I don't usually have anybody to talk about it with. So I look forward to seeing you over there, and I will talk to you later. Bye.